Welcome back everyone. In this video we're going to use the historical data that we're fetching from the Stocks API, and we're going to use that data to provide it to put it together into a prompt that we're going to send to the OpenAI chat completion API, and we're going to get our prediction that we're going to be able to display to the user. So let's head back to VS Code, and in the last video, if we head over to advisor prediction, here we can see the form where we can now type a stock symbol like Apple, add it, and then if we open this here, we get the prediction. And right now all we're doing is fetching the data. So the data here is going to be these objects here, where we're gonna get these values. So these values, what they represent, they're listed here inside of the aggregates section. You can head over down here and see what each one of these values are going to represent. So we need to tell our AI model what these values also represent. So I created a prompt that we can use in order to send this data. So we're going to see how we're going to pass this information over to the chat completion API and finish up with the application service that we're creating. So let's hide the terminal here. Let's head back to the application. So right now we were able to type the symbol, get the data back, and we can see it in the console log here. So now let's go back into the code. So we are inside of the prediction page here, and when we submit, handle submit, we call the get prediction passing the symbols. So we go to get predictions, and get predictions, the first thing is going to do is going to go ahead and fetch the stocks data that we need. So that is going to call the fetch stocks data function, which is going to go here, and it's going to fetch all the data that we need. Now we get the data back in here. This is what we're console logging in the terminal now. So in here, let's go back and continue working with this file here. And we're going to, the first thing I want to do here, let's see, let's go ahead and check. So right now we're getting, in this step here, let's just have a check here that if stock data results dot length is less than or equals to 0, we just want to throw a new error, and we're going to say no historical data found, please try again. Just in case this for some reason comes back empty, something goes wrong with the API, we don't get anything back, we can throw that error here before we do anything with this array. Then we're going to check inside of this results stocks and data results array. We're going to loop over them. So stocks data results, that for each, we're going to grab each item inside of the array, and I just want to check that if item dot error, if this is true, then we also want to throw a new error, and we want to pass let's show the item dot error that we got back, and then we're gonna say also please try again. So this check here is if the user, for example, they pass a symbol that doesn't exist, and we are not able to fetch the data, we are going to be putting a error instead. So if we didn't get any data, we're passing a error. So that's what we're returning here. So we're just checking that in here. We don't have any errors in there before we even try to get the prediction from OpenAI. Cool. So now that we have those checks in there, we're going to start working with the prompt. So the prompt is going to go here. And for the prompt, you can find in the video description, you're going to find a link to the markup again. And you're going to find a prompt.js. And this is the prompt I put together after testing multiple times. We have an array called prompt, and this is a really large string that is going to have all the initial prompt information that we need. So to the model, we're going to say your task is to provide a brief stock price prediction for the next stock market opening day. You will be provided with a list of stock symbols and their historical data as follow. So here we're showing the model how we're going to, what information we're providing. So the symbol and the historical data. Then we're going to say the historical data is organized as follow, and we're going to pretty much pass this information from here to the model so he knows what each one of these properties mean. Then we're going to say use the historical data and search for the latest trends before making your prediction. So we want to make sure it takes a look at the data and search for the latest trends before making a prediction. So we're giving time time for the model to think. Then we're going to tell the model to format the response in an array of JSON objects. And we're going to show the two examples. So it's a two-shot prompt. So we're showing the output that we want. We're showing an array of a single symbol in here. And we want a symbol property with the value here. And again, it is in a JSON object. So we have those double quotes there. We want the latest close price in here. The latest trend with some information like this, the next day prediction, and the analysis. So after testing a few prompts and making it, iterating over the prompt multiple times, I put together, let's put a space here, and a space here. So I put together this here. And I was getting consistent responses, and everything looked, the prediction looked good, and the prices and all the information that we provided. So the second example is the same array with two objects, JSON objects in here, which one is for Dell, one is for Apple. So that way the model knows the format that we want. Then we say don't add any extra markup, because sometimes the model likes to add a little comment or other stuff that any other text or sometimes markup that we don't really need. And then we're going to say the actual historical data will start right after this line. And what we're going to do, we're going to push the historical data into this array right after this first string. So we got one large string, and then we're going to push all the rest of the stuff in there. So let's copy this whole entire file, close this up, and we're going to paste that in here. So now we got the prompt in here. And now we're going to go all the way to the bottom here. And now let's loop over the results. So if we pass all these checks, we're going to create the prompt with the data that we got back. So we're going to say stocks data results that for each. We're going to grab each symbol And we're going to, let's say, create a data object so we can format the object just like we told the model that we're going to send this data here. So we're going to say symbol, and we want to pass the symbol that we looping over dot ticker, and then we're going to say data and then symbol dot results. And then we need to, this is an array, so remember this results is an array. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna do that map. We're gonna map over this, and we're gonna grab each item in there, and we're going to call JSON dot stringify, and we're gonna pass each object, and then we're gonna call the dot join method at the end. Not object, but item. And then dot join does not exist on type string. Let me see. Item JSON dot stringify, pass the item. We're missing a. It's at the end of the map. So after we finish the map, we're going to grab the array, we're going to join everything together, and that is going to be passed to the data. So that's how we're going to organize it there. So now that we have the format we want for this format that we are telling the AI we're going to send the data, we're going to just do a prompt that push to push each data object, and let's make sure we also stringify this. So JSON dot stringify here. Cool. So that's what we're doing here. And then after this here, after we loop over the data, the stock and data results, and build the object and push it into this array, right after this first string, we make everything a string, right? So everything is just one giant string. We're going to continue after this. And this is what we're going to call the OpenAI. So we're going to make the request to OpenAI in here. So here we have all the data already in the prompt already created. And now we're going to, let's stop our terminal here. And we're going to use the OpenAI completion API. And I will leave a link to the documentation here if you haven't used this API before. Here's the documentation, but basically the instructions are here. We're gonna put this same example together. So make sure you sign in or sign up, and you need to grab your API key. And also we need to install the OpenAI package. So we're going to grab this installation command, and we're gonna hit enter so we can install OpenAI. And in the meantime, grab your API key, and I'm going to show you a .env example here, which this is how right now we have the polygon. I think I called it polygon earlier. So polygon API key, which we use to fetch the data from the stocks. And then we're going to create this OpenAI key as well. So let me set that up, and I will continue in a second. Let me pause here. All right, so my API is already set up here. So now let's close this up. So make sure you paste your API key here, and that's all we need to do. Now that this is finished installing, we're going to run again npm run dev. And we're going to come back to the get prediction function, and let's add some space here. And let's say const completion equals, and we're going to import at the tab here. Let's do import. Let's do OpenAI here. And now let's set up the API key. So after this import, let's say const OpenAI equals, and then we're going to say new OpenAI to create a new client. And we're going to say, we're going to call it, we're going to pass a object here. We're going to need to set the API key just like this. And we need to pass the process.env dot, and then we call this open AI underscore API underscore key. OpenAI. Okay, cool. I think that's everything we need. So let me make sure this is fine. New OpenAI API key process.env open underscore AI key. Cool, that should be fine. So now we got this client already set up, so we can go back down to here. And here we're gonna call the OpenAI chat completion API. So we're gonna say await OpenAI.chat.completions, and we can use the .create method. So down here we can see the same thing is in here. So we create the OpenAI client. We can call the OpenAI completion API, and we can call the .create method to create a new chat with a model. So here we're gonna do parentheses, and then we need to pass in an object and hit enter. So we need to set the model that we want to use. So the model we're gonna use will be in the GPT-4o-mini, which is one of the newest one now. We're also going to set the messages array, and we're going to put an array here, hit enter. And inside of the messages array, we can set different messages for the system, for the user, and then we normally get back the completions or the chatbot responses in the assistant role here. So for here, each one of these is an object. So we're gonna do row, and here we're gonna say system. So in the system here, we can tell the model, kind of like set a persona for the model. So we're going to say content, and we're gonna say you are a let's just do stock market expert. Okay, simple enough. And then we're going to, in the next one, we're going to set the row to user, which is us sending a message, and the content in here, content, we're going to pass the prompt that we created .join to make sure that is all a string in there. So what's here, declare but never read, that's fine. So let's also set after the messages, let's set the temperature. So the temperature is pretty much how creative the model can be. And right now we don't need any hallucination. We don't need any extra creativity. We want to have a consistent response. So the higher the value, the more random the completion will be. So we don't want anything random. So we want to set this temperature to 0. 0 will be more focused and more deterministic. So we're going to set this to just 0 here. And that's everything we need. So we're going to now go right after here, and we're going to say const prediction data, and here we're going to just store the completion response we got. So we're going to say completion, and then dot choices square brackets 0 dot message dot content, and this is where the actual value we receive is going to be stored. You can also kind of like console log the whole entire completion here if you want to see it, but basically the actual message we want is stored in here. So after we get the prediction data here, we're going to, let's also console log that in here. So console log prediction data, and then we're going to return a new object with the prediction data. And let's see here, I don't have this inside of a try catch, so let's try to wrap everything inside of a try catch. So up here, yeah, let's see, all the way to the top here, let's say try, open a curly bracket, the closing one, let's delete it from there, let's put it all the way down, here, and then we're going to say catch, and then we're going to receive any errors that happen there. And then if we get an error inside of the try catch here, we want to console log the error, and then we can say, let's say, let's just console log the error here for now, and let's return a new message here. So let's put inside of an object and say message, and then we're going to pass the e.message, so that way we can use this message to display it to the user. And right now we can just say this is a type any, unexpected, any specific, specify different, type any, okay, doesn't matter, just leave it type any for now. Unexpected any, specify a different type, it should be okay. We don't have anything else here. We'll see. We'll come back to this really quick. Let me just double check if we need anything else. So let's scroll up in here. We got the results here from the API. We throw an error in here, if there's no data, throw another error if there is something wrong with one of the stocks that we got back. We create the prompt. We add the data to the prompt. We make a request to the chat completion API. We get the completion. Okay, that's fine. Let's do a quick test. So let's go back to the app in here. And right now we have Apple or in here, and we could open the terminal here. We can click now on get prediction again. And mine is compiling. We get the data, and now we get back the prediction. So here, notice I only have one, so Apple in here. So we have a array of one single JSON object. We have a symbol. Notice we have the same thing we specify here. Symbol, the latest close price, the latest trend, the next day prediction, and the analysis. So we got everything we specify here, and that was adding 1. We can test adding 2 as well, but before we do that, I want to show you the console log from the chat completion is up here, and you can see that we have more information in there that you can look into. But basically inside of choices, you have the message, and the message is where this completion is going to be stored. Cool. So we're getting our prediction. This is actually the data that we're going to show to the user. We have it in a JSON object that we can now loop over this and show every single value here. So we got the same format here. If you want something different to be displayed, you can update this prompt. You can make any changes you want, but basically this is the information that I need, and that's exactly what it gave me back. So let's hide this, because right now we are good. We have all the information we need. So let's go, and now this is going to be returned here to the front end right over here, and this is where we're going to catch the data, and we're going to continue from there. So in here we're going to grab, let's say, const, let's destructure the prediction data and the message. So we just destructuring the prediction data and the message that we're returning. And then here we could, let's see what we're gonna do. So we got the prediction. So let's check first if you can console log it in here too if you want to see it, just to verify the data. That's always a good step. So let's actually do that real quick. Let's just say console log this here, and let's just refresh this page, pass another symbol, IBM, or let's do GME, add it, get the prediction, and let's look at the console here. Page 23, undefined. Okay, cool. We got an undefined here. So let's see what's happening here. Prediction data is being returned here. Prediction data from get symbol. Did we get the completion here? Okay, we got the completion here from GME, but we didn't get what we return here. We're returning this object. So here, what's going on here? Prediction data. What is it saying? Property prediction data do not exist in type promise. Prediction string no or undefined. Okay. So it looks like this is still undefined. Let's do an await here, because it should be just returning this. Await expression can only be allowed inside of async function. So this function here should be an async function. There we go. Clean this up. Let's try that again. GME again. Add it. Send it. Okay, there we go. I forgot the await and async in here. Now that we updating our handle submit. Cool. So that's always good to always console log your data and you just saw what happened. So let's go into the next step here. We console log in the data. We can also console log the message. You can put the message in here too, just in case we get an error. We're going to use that error to put it to the error state in a second. But here let's check if the message. So if we have a message, so if we got an error, we're going to set the error to this message. Right, so because we are rendering this error down here somewhere, right here. So we got an error, we're gonna do that there. We're gonna set the symbols. So we're gonna clear the symbols again to set it to an empty array. So what does it say here? Argument never, not assigned with parameter of set state, set symbol is a array. Okay, let's keep it there for now. Let's set loading in here to false. Let's see. We need to set loading to true here. So after we prevent default, we're gonna set loading to true. Right? So we can say we are loading. We're gonna wait for this data to come back. If we got a message, we are setting load to false, resetting this to an empty array, and setting the error message here. Now, if we go down here, after checking the message, let's say if prediction data is true, right? So we got some data in here. Just to make sure, we're gonna say const. Remember the prediction is gonna be a string, so let's do parse prediction equals JSON.parse, and we're gonna pass the prediction data, and then we can call set prediction. We don't have a state for the prediction. So we got the prediction here. We got the symbols. So we need to create a new piece of state here in order to put the prediction data that we got back. So we can say const prediction and set prediction. And we're going to set that equals 2. And this is going to be an array of objects. So we're going to say use state. And let's set it to an empty array for now. And then in here, we can call now set prediction. And we can pass the parse parse. Oh. Parse prediction here. There we go. So we parse it, put into the state. Now we can also set we can set symbols. We can reset these symbols to now an empty array as well. Then we can set the loading to false. and we can clear the error as well. Set error, just in case there was an error there before. And if we do set error, yeah, that should be good. Cool. So we put the data into the state, we clear everything up, and now we could let's wrap this into a try catch, because now this is an async function. So I'm going to highlight everything here, cut it, try catch, put it inside of the try, and then let's just console log, console that error for now, and that should be okay. It's not assigned to parameter, set actions. This is for the set symbol. Oh, it said symbols. That's why I'm missing an S here. Oh no, I just messed that up again. All right, so scrolling back up, I pressed something and my whole screen shifted. So let's go back here. So I had set symbols singular, so I was using the wrong one to set symbols, which is the actual array here that we're resetting. Cool. So now let's see in here. So let's be careful with those and name conventions here. So let's just rename this prediction to plural as well, because we're gonna have an array. So set symbol predictions and set predictions, and let's rename predictions here. Cool. So that is okay. Loading right now, we're not using it. Predictions is where now we're going to be able to loop over that array that we have in the state, and we're going to show the different predictions. So let's set a type to this array here before we just loop over that and try to just the mapping on that. So let's create a folder types, and inside of types let's do index.ts. Let's set a type of prediction, and each prediction is going to have, so each prediction is going to have this here. So it's going to have a symbol of type string, is going to have the latest trend, also type string, latest close price. Let's just copy that here. Let's put that in order here so I can make sure I got everything here. Also a string. Oh no, the price is going to be a number, because I did wrap it in quotes, so it should give us back a number. So symbol, latest close price, latest trend, and then we need the next day prediction in here, which is also going to be a type number. Then we need analysis in here, type string, and I think that's it. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Let's do export here and format this. So now this type, we're going to import it back into get prediction. Not to get prediction, but back into the page here, the prediction page, and let's put some space here. Import prediction, and we're going to say that this predictions is going to be of type prediction array, or an array of predictions. So now let's map over this prediction state variable down here somewhere, right after the form. Let's do fragments, curly brackets, predictions. Let's make sure prediction is true, and predictions that map, right? We're gonna map over that, but we want to show the prediction, and we should put it inside of an object. I mean, into its own component. So let's create inside of UI, right click, new file. Let's call this prediction dash item.tsx, and this is what we're going to use to show the prediction. So export default prediction item. I forgot the keyword function. Here we're going to take in props, and props is going to be of type prediction. Make sure it gets imported at the top. And then we're going to, again, destructure everything we need equals props in here. And then we're going to return some JSX from here. So from here, let's return a section and the section is going to have a h2 that's going to say stuck price prediction, and then here let's do another div so we can put all of these together, and let's do an h3, and here we want to show, let's destructure everything we need. We need the symbol, we need the latest close price, latest trend, and we need the next day prediction and the analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. So here let's pass the symbol. Then let's put a p tag here, and let's pass a strong tag. And here we're gonna say latest close price, and we want to display the latest close price. I want to copy this down to show the trend, the prediction, and analysis. So here we're gonna say latest trend, and we're gonna say latest trend. Then here we're gonna say, let's say prediction for next opening day, and we're going to pass the next prediction date. And last, we're going to show analysis, and pass analysis. Cool. So we're gonna pass the props. Everything should be the structure and display here. So let's go back to the page here. And let's finish up doing that map. We're gonna grab each symbol. Or let me see, in here, what are we grabbing? We're grabbing, so we mapping over prediction, so we can just call this prediction. So we're going to just render a prediction item component. We need to set the key prop. We can pass it to pass prediction dot symbol, and then we can just spread dot prediction, and that should do it. So we're going to render a prediction item for each prediction inside of the array. We spreading everything in there, so we can just grab everything here and display inside of the JSX. And we just got to do some styling, but after we do the testing. So cool. Let's just double check that we are rendering the information, and let's do another test. So in here, we are going to type, let's do IBM add, and let's do TSLA for Tesla. Add it. Now we have 2, and click get prediction. And we have some information here. It says stock price prediction IBM. So the symbol, latest close price. This is an H3. Doesn't look like an H3, but we got to do the styling. Latest trend, IBM showed a recent upward trend with a notable high of 224, indicating strong buying interest. Prediction for the next day is 224, so it predicts that it's going to go up by a few cents. Analysis, and we get the analysis in here. Then it's going to repeat the same for Tesla. 254, predicted is 255. And again, this is not a real investing advice. This is just our AI projects that we're creating. This is no expert or guarantee advice. So don't use this information to invest your money. This is just to create applications using AI, right? So again, with the disclaimer in there. So now that we have a prediction here, we should be able to style, and pretty much this is all we need to do now. Do the styling and display this nicely to the user. Let's just check that if we put a random value here and we add it and we click get prediction, we say data not available for this stock in here. So that means we send that a random symbol to the stock API, and we were not able to find any data. So we're just showing this error message here, data not available for this stock, please try again, so the user can see it. Maybe we can make this a little bit bigger, but it's up to you, and they can try again and maybe fix the error there. So cool. In the next video, we're going to style this up, and I want to do a little bit more feedback, like I want to show like a render state for the application, but pretty much we have a few red things in here also to fix. We'll fix it in the next video. This is something minor, and here we have a few things that we're not using. Prediction and prediction. Why is this being imported twice? And what is this here? Prediction conflicts a local variable you must declare with a type import. So prediction is conflicting with this here, with this component here. So let's call this component prediction page in here, because this is basically a page component, and now it doesn't conflict with our type prediction here. And basically that's everything we got to do here. Let's just do another test. Let's do GME again. GME added prediction, and we're gonna wait, and we got the information in there. So if you're getting any errors in here from your API, you got to check that to see if you have enough tokens or enough money in your account for making this API call. So if you have like a free account and you run out of tokens, you have to, go in there and set up your billing. It's pretty cheap. I just set up a threshold like $5 for my to test my projects when I'm developing. So go ahead in there and check if you have money available, but everything should be working now. And then in the next video, we're going to finish up with some touches, and we're going to double check what else we need to finish up in here just to make sure everything is in the clear. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.